This is StoryRobot. Welcome to r/prorevenge. Our first story of today is, don't threaten me if you aren't prepared to go through with it. I'm a business owner in another country with very strict libel laws. If you say something bad about someone, doesn't matter if it's true or not, and it costs them money, they can sue you. It's the law in my country and people get sued for it a lot. Just to say example, if say you man and you are cheating on your wife and I tell your boss, this man is cheating on his wife, and your boss fire you, you can sue me because you lose your job because I told your boss. Even though it is true that you are cheating on your wife. Stupid law, I think. If not true I understand, but if true, why illegal? Anyway, my country not perfect. So I own a bar. My bar is very successful. I try and take care of my customers and I'm always at my bar making sure my staff are doing a good job. I also always have events and parties. This I think helps my bar be successful. So not too long ago I moved my bar to a better location, and shortly after the bar owner across the street started to threaten me. She said I was telling people she had illegal people work for her. She said I told people she was selling sex. She said I saying she was ripping people off. I didn't know any of this. I don't even know her. I am busy, I got a bar, I got a family, and I got a normal job too. Then one day she sends me message and says I need to pay her $25,000 or she will sue me. I need to pay the $25,000 because it is less than what the court would make me pay. I'm angry. I don't know why I need to pay $25,000 for something I didn't do. I think she was just mad at my success. My boyfriend, who is American, told me I should speak to a lawyer. It was very stressful. I just want to do business and live a happy life. I don't want to fight over stupid stuff. But after a few weeks of her texting me demanding I pay her money, I go to a lawyer. Lawyer told me that I can sue her for blackmail and she can sue me for saying bad things about her. I told my lawyer, I didn't say good or bad thing about her, I don't even know her. Lawyer says then that's fine because she will have to prove I said bad things about her, and if I didn't say anything bad about her then she can't win. But I can prove she try and blackmail me. If she want money out of me for saying bad things about her, she needs to sue me, not blackmail me. So I sue her. It took a long time, very long time. Over 1 year, in fact, lots of paperwork, back and forth, waiting, very stressful. I was pulling out my hair. I'm just glad my boys keep me happy and focused. And then the day comes, we go in front of judge. Judge said that she can't prove I said anything bad about her, and since she can't prove I said anything bad, she gets nothing. Judge then told me that I need to get paperwork showing how much money I pay my lawyer. I was smart and I brought it with me. My lawyer was very expensive. Judge then asked how much money my business made. I told judge and I also brought proof. Judge then ordered her to pay 10% of my whole year money because she was trying to blackmail me, and that is not okay. 10% was a lot of money, a lot more than $25,000 she had to sell her bar to pay me. I was so happy, but you see she had problem. She couldn't sell her bar. No one wanted to buy it because many people say my bar put her bar out of business, so why do they want to buy it? When they give her price, it very low price, not enough to pay me or give her enough money to do something else. So I told her, let's make deal, you give me your bar and we say everything is even. She said that's too much money, so I promised to pay her a little bit every month as a rent, and she agreed because she had no choice. So I bought her bar. I got it for a very good price because she had to pay me and she had no money. In my country, as a judge tells you that you have to pay something and you can't pay it, then one day they will send you to jail. So I took her bar and turned into a restaurant, which is also doing good. Now I have a good bar, a good restaurant, and I'm happy again. It was very stressful 18 months. I didn't want to fight her. I don't know why she try and fight me. I think she was just mad. She was always mad and mean, which is why I think no one liked her. Our second story of today is, become the worst neighbor and HOA board member ever. Lose your job in HOA. Let me start by saying never purchase a house in a HOA. It is a complete mess that should be regulated and illegal. If I knew about HOA when I bought my first home, I would have never purchased my first home in one. Me and my wife purchased our first home when we were 24 and 25. We spent months looking at houses and areas and tried to find a forever home in a good district for potential future kids, etc. We finally found a perfect one at a decent price. At first everything was great, super nice neighborhood and decent neighbors. Well, a few months after buying the house, we rented an RV to go on a trip and parked it in the driveway for the 3 days leading up to the trip to pack it and for me to learn how half the things in it worked. Well, this is when we learned that HOAs are absolutely crazy, and our neighbor was on the board of our local HOA. Within an hour of it being parked, he got home and stormed over demanding we remove it from his neighborhood or he would have it towed and fine us for every hour it was there. Myself, being the average and normal person, told him kindly to beep off and get out of my driveway, and told him if he returns I'll call the cops because he was screaming like a madman inches from my face. About 3 hours later a big rig tow truck shows up, and he walked up like he was a god and handed me a plain envelope with a letter inside that pretty much said, "By order of the HOA this RV is to be towed." And a fine of $1,500 for violating their rules. While Mr. Crazy board member might not listen to reason, the tow truck guy they found wasn't so fond of entering my driveway and towing a vehicle when I told him if he comes on the property I'll call the cops. Once the tow truck driver decided he's done being involved in this mess and left, neighbor goes even more crazy and storms off. I call my friend to get his dad's number because he's an attorney, to ask him about this insane letter and fine I just received and to ask him some legal advice. After speaking to his father, he told me to come down, write him a $500 check and bring along all the papers I received when purchasing the home and the current letter I just received. The next day he had a very friendly letter sent to my neighbor and the HOA board. Basically telling my neighbor to beep himself in legal terms and to leave us and our property alone. I then continued to receive fines of $1,500 a day in plain envelopes not postmarked stuffed into my mailbox that I then turned over to my friend's father, and each time he sent another set of letters and contacted USPS to report the incidents. Turns out putting mail into people's mailbox is a crime, who knew? Well, we decide to go on our week-long trip across the state and mildly forget about it all. Kind of upset I had to spend $500 to have an attorney send letters, but that's what they do. Fast forward to us returning from the trip and the RV back in our driveway for 2 days so we can unload, clean, then return it. Again each day more envelopes stuffed into our mailbox and more visits to our attorney and more letters sent and more incidents reported to USPS. Well, here's where the fun really begins. Turns out Mr. Crazy finally gives me a summons to appear before the board. My attorney said this is crazy illegal because what they've done is use what looks like an actual legal document improperly to summon me to the board. Another $500 to the attorney, and we wait for the date they made, a Tuesday at 10 a.m. They attempt to keep my attorney out of the room on some board privacy rule, but quickly shut the hell up when he begins going over their own rules that they are violating to them. Deep in this HOA book are some very nicely worded rules and stuff outlining about what makes board members ineligible, and how they cannot serve if they commit certain infractions. Well, guess what Mr. Crazy Neighbor has done? Committed several of them, all documented. Also, the cherry on top is that if 51% of the HOA members vote to dissolve the HOA, it all goes away. Well, it happens my wife worked part-time from home during this mess and had all the free time in the world to begin a disband the HOA campaign. Over the course of the next 2 months she went around and really began to get to know our neighborhood really well. Turns out a lot of people dislike the HOA and the power-hungry seniors who act like dictators that run it. The HOA attempted to stall everything by holding no meetings, another HOA violation, and began their own campaign trying to change HOA rules to keep from being ousted, and a fairly racist flyer and letter to everyone explaining the dangers of not having an HOA and all the bad people, blacks and Mexicans, that will move in and take over, sell drugs, etc. That our houses would become much less valuable and everything else they could try. Turns out it's extremely fun to use someone's own rules against them. The neighborhood even started a fund that paid us back what it cost us to get the attorney started and the continued costs he had. A few weeks after their failed fear campaign and being forced to hold a meeting, a vote was called by using their own rules. The HOA was no more and all remaining funds were to be dispersed back to the homeowners and members equally. This never happened. Turns out somehow the HOA used all their funds in the course of the last 2 months. About half the former board members sold their homes and moved, including Mr. Crazy Neighbor. I've spent 3 hours trying to find old news articles because it was reported on mostly due to the racist letters by the HOA, but it was too long ago to find anything. Moral of the whole mess: don't buy a home in an HOA, and if you do, plan to hire an attorney. Thank you for watching. Error. Problem detected. Not enough subscribers. Please subscribe, like and comment.